This video is brought to you by Envato. Making AI-generated videos can be a lot of fun. But did you know you can push them even further using motion graphics in After Effects? AI gives us a strong starting point, but on its own, it can sometimes feel just a little bit unfinished. That's where After Effects comes in. In this tutorial, I'll show you my workflow for taking AI-generated video from Envato VideoGen and enhancing it inside After Effects to create clean, professional motion graphics. By the end of this video, you'll know how to plan AI footage for motion graphics, integrating it cleanly into After Effects, and turn a simple AI clip into polished, professional motion design. This video is brought to you by Envato. Access AI tools and unlimited downloads of millions of creative assets. And they've got the broadest range of categories, all in one place. Follow the link in the description and start creating now. So before we get started using VideoGen or After Effects, let's plan things out just a little bit to take a quick look at how we want to use this video clip in post. Things we want to keep in mind are things like where your text and graphics are going to be, so just avoid filling every part of the frame with detail. Busy footage might look impressive, but it's much harder to work with once you start layering motion graphics on top. Now let's think about movement. Which part of the scene do you actually want to animate? Subtle things like flickering lights, drifting particles, or activity on a computer screen can add life without overwhelming the shot. I also prefer slow controlled camera movement, for example a gentle zoom in, or a slow pullback, or a very subtle pan. Subtle motion gives you more flexibility in After Effects and makes typography and graphic elements feel grounded. Cool! So let's start at the very beginning, generating our base clip in Envato VideoGen. This is where we define the entire vibe of the scene. Signing up to Envato gives you access to a full AI suite where you can generate videos, images, music, and much more. So once you've signed up, simply head on over to Envato and then under Gen AI, just go to VideoGen. When you're creating AI clips for After Effects, you need to think like a designer and a compositor, not just a prompt writer. So let's talk through the key things you want to include in your prompt. To keep things consistent, I like to use a simple prompt formula. Let's take a look at each part. First is the setting. In this example, we're going for a futuristic cyberpunk interior overlooking a neon-lit city at night. Next is the focal subject, basically something you can use to help fill up the setting. Atmosphere adds mood without overpowering the scene, for example rain, haze, or subtle particles. Lighting controls contrast and readability. In your prompt, describe the type of lighting you want. For example, cool or warm tones, soft moody lighting, and where the light is coming from. And finally, camera behavior. This should be slow and controlled in order to work well with the motion graphics. Things like gentle pans add life to the scene without overpowering the viewer. So here's the full prompt I used for this project using the formula. Feel free to copy this directly if you want to follow along, or tweak it to fit your own idea. Now, I always generate a few variations of the same scene. Not radically different ideas, but maybe just small changes in framing, spacing, or movement. This gives us potentially different options to choose from once we start adding text, graphics, and motion in After Effects. Pro tip, before generating a full video clip, always run a start frame preview. It's way quicker to tweak a single frame than re-render an entire video, and it lets you make sure that the style and lighting are exactly what you want. Now let's grab the assets we'll use to enhance our AI video clip. On Envato, let's go to the font section and search for keywords like retro or cyberpunk. This gives us a wide range of styles to choose from, so we can pick from something that complements the look and tone of our scene. For motion graphics, we want to head over to the video templates section and search for something like neon logo or neon light effects. This gives us glow, flicker, and light behavior that we can use to customize in After Effects rather than building everything from scratch. If you want to use the exact assets that you're seeing in this video, check out the links in the description below to download them. Now once you've got your Envato assets, it's time to bring everything together in After Effects. Most Envato video templates come completely organized and ready for you to edit and customize with your own images and videos. So let's start by opening up the neon light template. From here, I like to change the preview mode to half or quarter, just so that it's easier to run on my PC. Now let's go to Edit Comps. Here you'll see there are two compositions for us to edit the text. So let's open each of them up and use the font we downloaded from Envato to change things up a little bit. So first we're going to double click on Text Main, and that will open up the comp for this text, and you can easily just select the text here, double click on it, and then edit the text. So from here I'm just going to type in After Effects, and then over on the right here you can see we can edit the properties of our text. So make sure that the text is selected, and then we're going to change the font here into one of the fonts that we downloaded from Envato, and then we can also just sort of adjust the size of our font, make sure that is centered, and then we're just going to use this selection tool here just to move it back into the center. Edit it here, and all I'm doing from here is I'm just going to the number and just clicking and dragging, as I find that easier. But if you find typing in the numbers easier, you can do that as well. And then from there I'm just going to adjust the spacing between the letters just to make it look a little bit nicer, and then just making sure that it's placed just on the center and around the top half of our square here. Next, let's go ahead and double click on this composition, so text under, and we'll do exactly the same here. So making sure that this text is selected, we're going to double click on that, and then again change the font to our retro themed font, and then just adjust the way that it looks here as well. So making sure it's centered, and then just spacing it out a little bit like so. Now for this example here, I'm just going to make this a plus sign, and let's go ahead and make it a little bit bigger and bring it into the middle. And I'm just going to go back to the text main here. I'm going to bring that up, and let's go ahead and duplicate this. So selecting this layer here, I'm going to press Ctrl D to duplicate it, bring it down, and from here I'm just going to change this to say VideoGen, and then just going back to this composition here to make sure that the plus sign is in the right place, just between these two texts here. Just going to move this one up slightly and move this one a little bit down, and then just continue to adjust it until you're happy with the way your text looks. Now back in the main comp, select the layer called Color Light, and then change it to the desired color for your project. So to change the color, all we have to do is make sure that this layer is selected, and then go to the Effects Controls panel, and under where it says Color, just simply click on the color box here, and as you can see we've got this little color panel here that we can use to just change the way that our glow is going to look. So we can have a green glow here, an orange glow. I kind of like the look of the sort of purple pink look that we had before. It's a bit more cyberpunky. So I'm just going to select that, and then once you're happy with the way that it looks, let's go ahead a little bit more purpley. Go ahead and click OK. Now let's add footage to our project. For this, most of the time you can simply just import your video file and then add it to the bottom layer of your main comp. However, if that doesn't work, go ahead and click on this button here, which kind of looks like a character peeking over the wall. And this will unhide all the shy layers. Now you can see how the project is made up, so you can experiment with some of the other compositions in here. So let's take a look at this comp here by double clicking on it, and see if we can add our AI footage to the pre-comp. Okay, so now that we're inside this composition here, let's go ahead and see what it's made out of. So you can just go ahead and look at all of these different compositions and hide and unhide them to see how it affects our comp. And you can see we've got all these light layers over here. So if we just go ahead and highlight all of these, you can see how it is affecting the glow of our lights. So go ahead and experiment with those. They're all nicely named, but the purpose of this composition is to bring in our video. So let's go ahead and find our video. So to import a video, it's pretty easy. All you need to do is go to File, Import, and then File to find the location of your video, or just make sure that we're in the project panel here. Simply go into Windows Explorer, find where your VideoGen video is, and then just simply click and drag it into the project panel like this. And there you can see that our VideoGen video is now inside our project panel. And to put it inside this composition, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm at the very bottom of all of these layers. I'm just going to bring this up to show you where all of these layers are, and I'm just going to click and drag it from the project panel to the very bottom here, and now you can see straight away our VideoGen video is inside our viewport. And if we scrub backwards and forwards in our timeline, you can see how that's being affected as well. Now you can see here that our video is just a little bit too small to fit our composition. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to click on the VideoGen video layer, click on the arrow here to bring down transform, click on the arrow down here to bring down all the transform properties, and under scale here I'm just going to click and drag this all the way up until it fits. Now another way we can do this, if I go ahead and press Ctrl Z to undo that, is I'm going to go to the Effects and Presets panel here. Now if this isn't showing up, all you need to do is go to Window and then find Effects and Presets here, and that will bring it up. And then under the search bar here, I'm just going to type in Scale. And then what we want to do is we want to find Detail Preserving Upscale. And this is a much better way of scaling up our images and videos to preserve their detail. So making sure that the video layer is selected, go to the Effects Control panel here. And I'm just going to double click on that to apply it. And then here we can again bring the scale up, or just simply click Fit Comp Height or Fit Comp Width, and that will do exactly the same thing. Awesome. Now all our assets have successfully been added to the project, it's time for the fun final touches. First, let's experiment further by seeing if we can tone down some of the effects here, as it can be a little bit overwhelming depending on your video clip. So let's start by learning how to tone down some of these lighting effects here, as they are doing a really good job of being super overpowering compared to our background scene. So if we go ahead and select these light layers, you can see that these light layers here are the ones that are affecting the outer glows here. So let's go ahead and select these one by one to see what they are. So the first light layer is the one that is affecting the outer glow of these bars here. The second one is the inner glow, and then the third one is a little bit of both. So let's go ahead and tone down the first glow here. So to do that, make sure that that layer is selected, bring that menu down, go to Transform, and under Transform we want to find Opacity, and as you can see, if we bring that down here, you can see that the glow is a little bit, it's subtle, but it's a little bit less. And then we can go back and do the same for the other glows as well. So under Transform, go ahead and just bring that down slightly so that it's less overpowering. And then the same for the third layer. Just bring that down slightly. And then again, you can also do that for the middle glow here as well. So we don't want to bring that down as much because that's the main focus of our composition, of our animation. So we need to find which layers are those. So to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and guess that it's these light layers down here. Select them all, and if we go ahead and hide and unhide them, you can see these are the layers that are affecting the lights. So let's go ahead and do the same. So just figuring out, this is the outer glow layers. Now these are quite subtle, so we don't need to bring them down as much. And then the same for this one. Just going down to transform and bring this down. And then if you want the same for the other two as well. Now another thing we can do is we can bring down the opacity of this main section here as well. So we want to go ahead and find what that is. So just go under all of these layers, just unhiding and hiding them to find which one it is. And we found it's this one. So just go ahead and open that up again. Go to transform, and under opacity, just bring it down just ever so slightly, so that it's not so overpowering. And you can see how all of this is affecting our main comp just by simply going back to our main comp here and clicking on it. Awesome. Next, let's go back to the main comp and add a vignette to the scene. This helps focus the viewer's attention towards the center of the frame, subtly guiding the eye towards the text and main visual elements. So to do this, we want to make sure that we are under the main comp. And we're going to go to Layer, New, and then select Solid. And we'll just call this Vignette. And then we want to make sure that the color here is set to black. And then click OK. So now you'll see that our screen is full of a black solid. Make sure that the vignette is at the top of our layer stack, and then we're going to go over to the shape tools here, select the ellipse tool, and then just double click on it to create an ellipse that is filling our screen. Cool. Now next over here, we're going to go to our layer and we're going to make sure that inverted is checked, and then under mask we're going to go to mask feather and then just crank it up until it's really blurry, just like that. And if you want, we can also go under transform and then just scale it up a little bit so that the darkness is not filling up our center of our composition. And then we also want to bring down the opacity as well, something like 50. Awesome. And now you can go ahead and check what it looks like with and without. And you can see how the vignette is really sort of drawing your eye to the center of our composition. Next, we'll add a bit of grain to the scene. This helps add texture, bonding all the different elements together nicely and keeps the image from feeling just a little bit too digital. So to do this, again, making sure that we are in the main comp here, we're going to go back to Layer, New, and Solid. And this time we're going to name this Grain. Make sure that the size again is the same size as our composition and that the color is again set to black. Click OK. And then again, our screen is full of black. From there, we're just going to go to the Effects and Presets panel here. And we're going to type in grain, and then making sure that our grain layer has been selected, we're going to double click on add grain to apply it. Now you'll see that we've got a square in the center of our viewport here, and that's because we have set the viewing mode to preview. So we want to set that to final output so that it fills the entire screen. And the grain here is very subtle. So in order to bring it up, we're going to go over to intensity and bring that up like so. And then we're going to bring the color here and change that to mono, just so that it's nice and black and white. And then from there, in order to blend this to our scene, we want to go back to our grain layer here and then set the mode to screen. And you can see now that we've got our grain layer on top of our composition, we can then bring the intensity down to see what that looks like so. And here it is, our final video clip created using VideoGen and Envato assets. What started as a simple AI generated clip has been refined in After Effects with motion graphics, typography, and subtle polish to create something that feels intentional and production ready. So hopefully this AI video workflow has been useful, and let me know in the comments what sort of projects you'll be creating. We'd love to hear what you're working on. So if you want more tutorials like this, make sure to like and subscribe. We've got plenty more coming your way. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.